Hello everyone, today's going to be a bit of a short practice session since I'm using all my willpower just to sit down now. I'm just pretty tired. I think I may as well do some practice. So I cut out all the kind of, I guess, physical elements, if I'm not actually using my hands. So hopefully that maximizes the usefulness, I suppose. I'm going to try and do with the first strum as an off strum. Alright. Very good pattern here. solid improvements from a while ago. Come on, have fun. pressure on your arm. Interesting. Very interesting. I seem to hope that's not, the chord. Or, well, anything. Oh, bother. I hate this light so much. If this lamp has kicked it, I'm gonna be so sad. That sucks. Oh well, I guess. I'll add that to my list of things to do tomorrow. You know what, ladies and gentlemen, we live in a society. Good night. Just kidding. If you can tell from the dark, I'm still playing. I'm still here. Surprise! I'm gonna be playing in the dark. Well, it's not the complete dark, but I can't really see very much. Stand just like barely being able to see my face reflected in the light. Ugh, that's creepy. Okay, this is gonna suck. hope you're enjoying the show. I'm sure it'll be very enlightening. Jesus Christ. That was bad for me. Feeling a little bit overwhelmed right now. Not in like a full I'm in the water sense, but just as in like a I can see the tide rising and I gotta get my bucket out. I just have a lot of bits and bobs to do, and a lot of it is from a while ago. Like I still have things like doing music theory lessons, and doing Japanese grammar. That's been around for ages, months. And then there's the drawing pad thing that I got from Lucy. That'll be fun, but I need a longer board for my music. And then there's the fact that I haven't really been doing much drawing lately anyway. Of bar practice, and then I might call it a day. I don't know, very, very short lesson. I'm just a little tired, that's all. And I figured that since doing a bar chord is like my main goal, that it makes sense to do 7 minutes of practice, even on a day where I'm not gonna do a whole lot of other stuff. I want to get my blue check mark for my Wild Academy report for the day, because otherwise no, nothing's burning right. My eyes are just getting foggy. Anyway, yeah, I want to make sure that every day goes by with Japanese drawing and a guitar. Doesn't make sense to do like a full massive lesson of it. Dude, I swear it's getting gray in this room. There's no smoke though. I'll just move my boards a little bit so it's not touching the computer. I think I'm just tired. Or maybe it's getting foggy. Oops. You know, it's a real beautiful world out there. Sometimes I feel a little pressured to change it. Of course, nothing grandiose. In order order to change anything, the first step is to change myself. But I want to change myself in a way that will really make me happy. And I think I may, at times, be falling into the trap described by the author of 7 Habits of Very Effective People. I'm being very busy, but without considered goals, how can I claim to be effective? How can I know that I want to look back on what I've learned and think to myself, wow, what a bunch of useless shit. Should have been learning how to code, or I don't know, how to write, or obviously that's not a perspective I have a lot, seeing as how I recognize that there's always going to be opportunity costs. There's just not enough time in one day to develop every skill that I could. That's silly. But I also recognize that some skills are more useful than others, whilst others are potentially I'm more passionate about than others, and I don't know how the hell passion works. I know that sounds beautiful. I know that sounds absolutely beautiful. But I don't know what hobbies. I guess for guitar it's easier, because with guitar it just sounds so lovely. I know that it's something that I want to be able to do, and something that I want to keep doing. Just because it's so beautiful. But for the others, I don't even know why I started them. I mean, Japanese. I mean, sure, I like reading manga. But I never had much of a grand scale interest in learning a language. I learned it on a whim. And now I learn it to show myself what I can be. And it's not that I've lost that, what I get out of it. Sorry. It's not that I don't feel that way anymore. I just want more specific goals. Something that I can aim towards, and something that I can look back on and recognize as an accomplishment, as something that I overcame, and as something that I'm proud of achieving and acquiring, if it's a skill. I mean, it's one thing to say I want to learn to draw, I want to learn how to speak Japanese, but obviously I don't have enough passion to become master artist in every field and with every every type of art, and completely fluent in Japanese, from literature down to text emojis. There's parts of the language and parts of drawing that I'm not particularly interested in, at least right now. And so it's important then that I recognize which are the parts that I do want to know. And you know what's funny is that takes a skill that is... Am I crazy? That was highlighted in the book, The 7 Habits of Effective People. I believe that was it. As leadership. Because managing is a very different skill to leadership. Managing is what I've been doing so far. Efficiency, planning, timetables, priorities, all that stuff. Obviously very important. I wouldn't have done as much as I have if it weren't for that. But if I want to decide what stuff I'm actually going to be putting on the chopping block, then I need to increase my leadership skills. I really want a chord that I don't know the name of. Think of all the chords that I know. I think the guitar really is, and I guess by extension all instruments are, conduits for emotion. So look, I'm happy with how much progress I've been making. I truly believe that. I mean, I know there have been periods of time where I'm upset at myself for not progressing fast enough, and I understand the validity of that frustration, because obviously I still feel it now. But increasingly, I think over the past few days, I've been realizing and understanding that if I'm to justify and hold myself accountable to a standard of devotion towards my hobbies, and I don't like the word hobbies, because hobbies are just inherently laced with this idea of doing it for fun. And that's true, I do it for fun, but I do it for progress, and I do it for opportunities. I don't just do it because maybe that's the problem. But I don't know. I don't just do it because it's fun, okay? So then why do I do it? Because I want to feel like I'm growing as a person and as an individual, but okay, fine, you do them because you want to progress. But if you're going to do them, as opposed to, say, any other hobby, then it must be because you enjoy them, or because they bring you something that you enjoy. And the answer to that is, I don't know. I don't really know. I want to draw good things, and I want to speak Japanese, but those are end goals that are so distant to me right now that I can't really reconcile them with how much I want to be putting, how much time I want to be putting into them. Like, I've read a lot about how, the best get to the best, and the first thing that comes, that's really highlighted, is that the best get there because they come to enjoy and really enjoy the process. Because the process is the enjoyable part for them, the act of drawing, the act of playing guitar, the act of learning Japanese. It's not the actual result that pleases them the most. I mean, I'm sure it gives them satisfaction. It serves as a milestone. It serves as an example, as a reward for their hard work. But if they had never fallen in love with the work in the first place, then they would have never put in as much of themselves into it as they did. And of course, you don't need to love what you do to do it, because that's sort of what I'm already doing, frankly speaking. I mean, I do kanji because I actually really enjoy the process. I'm a big fan for kind of memory games. I realize now I like the simple satisfaction of it. And that's important. That's really important, because the two things that I find the most enjoyable and easy to kind of do every day is guitar practice, because I find it enjoyable, and wanikani, the kanji software that I use to memorize that stuff, because I find it enjoyable. And the things that I more often skip out on, in fact almost always have skipped out on, are my grammar memorization, which is the kind of less glamorous side of learning Japanese, for any language for that matter, and drawing, as a general rule, just because it means, drawing boxes or doing basic shape stuff for 30 minutes. And that's not good. That isn't good. That's not good. I realize now. But Japanese, I'm not sure if anything can be done, really. I mean, I have this amazing resource called Dolly Sensei's video series on understanding Japanese grammar from the ground up. It seems incredible. I have books on Japanese grammar. I have Genki downloaded on my computer. I have all these resources. It's just building that habit of accepting that, yes, for the next 30 minutes we're not going to do the most interesting thing in the world, but that you will come out with with a much better understanding of Japanese rules. And then I need to be able to use that, because as it stands, it's just memorization for the sake of memorization. And unlike with one accounting, I have no program to remind me to memorize this stuff, right? Like once I've written it down once, I'm not going to get tested the next day or in a few days or in a month. It's just going to be there, sitting there, as a lot of rules are now, unused and therefore unremembered. And so if I'm going to learn Japanese, I need to reconcile the fact that it isn't enough just to brute memorize stuff, and I need to be applying it, and I just need to find a way that works, like that I can implement into a habit-y kind of way. It doesn't kill me inside, because something about the idea of just writing sentences for 15 minutes just kind of kills me. And I know it would be good for me, but hey, baby steps, baby. I want an application method that is actually enjoyable, because the grammar learning part is not enjoyable. And it doesn't have to be awful, but it's just not very interesting. So if I'm to make the application part, make that worth it, then I need to be using sentences in a way that is impactful, potentially. Anyway, so that's that. And that's all under the fact too that I need to figure out specific goals. Like I need to be figuring out, do I want to be learning? I do want to be learning manga. Like I want to be learning the Japanese used in manga so that I can better understand it, and then actually create an immersive environment within which to learn much quicker, right? Because I like reading manga. I haven't done so in a while, but if I could make that into a Japanese learning opportunity, then it would be awesome. It would be two birds, one stone. A leisurely activity that is actually quite useful at the same time. But to get to that stage, I'm going to need to just do some grammar stuff first. Drawing. I have things I'd like to draw. Junk, piles, space, planets, spaceships. Not just space, I promise. Like emotive characters. I've fallen absolutely in love with these forms and gesture drawing. I love how full of life and energy and emotion just a body pose can be, without even needing to incorporate facial expressions. And boy oh boy do I want to learn facial expressions too. They are so wonderfully colourful. I think I'm just scared away from it all because it all feels so daunting, so overwhelming, so like there's a million things to learn, and if you're not doing 8 hours a day, well, you're never even gonna get close to finishing it all, right? Like looking at these big pages after pages of varying facial expressions. You've got angry face, you've got confused face, you've got blah 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 blah. You get what I mean? There's a lot to learn, and that's not even considering the fact that the fundamentals that underpin all of it are kind of bloody boring to practice. There's really no other way to put it. Boring is an interesting word because it can be also relaxing if you happen to be in the zone. But getting into the zone takes pushing through that initial boring stage of just sitting down and doing the boring stuff for a little bit, which is what it's like to draw for me right now. So I have a vague idea of things I'd like to draw, and an understanding that if I'm to draw them well, then I need a solid understanding of the drawing fundamentals. And I don't know if... Well, no, hang on. I do know that I'm supposed to be drawing, quote-unquote, for fun, 50% of my time. So saith uncomfortable Lord of Drawbox. So 50% of the time that I spend doing Drawbox, I'm meant to be doing other stuff. And potentially that also includes the time that I do drawing lessons, because that's pretty much similar. But I don't know. I don't know what to draw. It feels like that leadership management thing again, of like, I don't want to be spending half my time doing stuff that I don't even know what I want to do, when I could just spend half the time doing things that I already know how to do, and that are potentially being more beneficial to my drawing skills. It's that crooked combination of be unknown and inefficient. It's inefficient and I don't know what it would be. Which are the two things I try my best to avoid doing my hobbies. And it's going to be difficult to start trying to do that, I guess. To find what I want to draw by just drawing. Even though... And, that's another thing. That's another big thing. Always going on about drawing from reference, and I know drawing from reference is amazing. I'm sure it's incredible for you. But I'm too beginner to even really know how to do that. So it just sounds to me like just find a good drawing and then look at it and then vacuum suck out the good stuff. Of course there are more basic ways of practicing by reference, trying to overlay construction grids and stuff like that so that you can see if you can't understand the basic construction that goes into things. But all that feels so above me right now. So I want to just I want to draw, if I'm going to be doing the other half, doing fun drawing, but then, is it just going to be shit? Because I really don't want to incorporate things like having to draw from reference into quote-unquote fun drawing. Fun drawing sounds... Like, drawing from reference currently sounds even more daunting than just an hour of doing boxes. Because that's repetitive, sure, but I know what to do now. I've finally got an understanding of how I'm meant to go around that, what kind of process I'm meant to take, and it's good. It feels very comforting. It feels very uplifting to understand the method and understand how to critique and not just look at it and go, well, this is bad. Not really sure why. Guess the face could have been bigger. Alright, moving on. Like, what do I learn from that? Not much. Not very much at all. I'm pretty much just getting very little bit of experience with doing faces or bodies or whatever it was that I just drew, but also mostly just line work. Just getting good and better with the pen, which is fine. It's fine. It just doesn't feel effective. And I don't know... How do I enjoy drawing something that is both not very nice to look at and doesn't contribute very much to my learning growth? And I fully, actually no, probably not fully, but I do understand, somewhat at least. And what I'm doing right now is I'm presupposing, I'm assuming that whatever I draw right now will look crap, which isn't necessarily true. I can still draw cool things, or I can just draw cute things that, fine in a very simplistic form. They don't even need to be complicated or anything. But the latter is the challenge for me. I'm not a big fan of sketching. Like, I like having big ideas and then trying to execute them, or at least thinking of trying to execute them. I don't so much like to just look at a page and go, okay, draw a cool thing now, or draw people in different poses now, because again, I'm not at that level yet. I haven't really gone through poses and construction. I mean, I have a little bit, but not quite yet. So if I can't draw people, or at least can't draw people well, and just flail around, then potentially building bad habits on top of that, that's a whole other thing, but not so much, because I'm too close to the point is, people, environments, all of these things feel daunting, like really daunting, and they might be fun to try, but they might not be, because that daunting factor, to me, just, it does a big deal. It does a big deal for me. Not knowing how to approach a thing. Because I'm not a huge fan of that. I mean, I guess I could treat it like a problem to solve, but just, I like having input, I like having understandings, I like having perspectives from people who are more experienced in these things, so that I know, and that I can choose, and then adapt better ideas than what I would come up with as a total beginner who has no experience in the field. But that's going to take time, because if I'm going to reach those things, then I'm going to need to build up from the foundation. If I'm going to build up from the foundation, then I want to do the boring stuff. So if I want to get to the interesting stuff quickly, then I need to do the boring stuff lots now. And the problem is that doing lots of the boring stuff is an excellent way to burn out. Pretty great, huh? It's a real catch-22. at the end of the day, what I'm doing is, to a large extent, at least I believe, catastrophizing. Catastrophizing? Yeah, catastrophizing. Because I definitely can just spend 30 minutes a day doing a boring thing. I do it all the time. I did it at the beginning with guitar, still to some extent. I definitely did it with Japanese, although clearly not enough. And so it's something I know I can do, just 30 minutes of something boring. What the real challenge is coming to terms with accepting that 30 minutes is alright. So I've just got this twisted mentality of 30 minutes is not enough, but an hour is enough, sort of, but I really don't want to do an hour, or I don't even have time because it's late and I'm tired and I'm sleeping or whatever. Like right now, I'm almost, no, yeah, I'm sorry, I just want to go to bed now. I really don't want to draw. Why? Because it just means sitting down and plugging in, and that's fine when I'm not tired, but I'm always leaving this stuff until it's late, too late. I'm always waiting until it's 10 or 11, and I'm like, oh, it's the time for the drawing now. That's shit, that sucks. That's really shit. I don't want to do that. I much prefer doing stuff during the morning and the afternoon. So maybe that's a big part of this, is being quicker with the things that I do, so that I don't always end up leaving the things that I least want to do for last. In fact, I should be doing them first. I wish guitar wasn't such a noisy thing to do. And I wasn't always worrying about efficiency with one thing. But basically, yes, I need to start doing drawing before the others if I'm to get it done. Which is perfectly doable, as far as strategies go. But it doesn't solve the original dilemma of not knowing what I want to draw, and moreover, when I'm going to draw it. I don't know how I should be going about this journey of mine. Because, on the one hand, please don't tell me my phone charger just broke. That would be really shit. That would be really shit. There's electronics crashing and burning around me. At the end of the day, I just want to know what I want to do. Because I'm doing stuff already, and I do like some of that stuff, but I don't know exactly what, and if I don't, then I will always struggle to gain the deep satisfaction that I want to out of these areas. And on top of that, I won't be as efficient as I want to be, because I won't be committing wholeheartedly and with enough justification to these parts that I appreciate so much. And I wish it was more obvious. I wish I was like others in some senses, who are way, way more passionate about the area, and who just know, right down to the core of their souls, yes, I want to learn this thing, or I want to be good at this thing. And let's break it down, work backwards, and maybe I can do that partially. But also, it doesn't help that there's so much distance to travel that breakdown thing almost feels, I don't know, makes things even harder. I need goals, but I also need to not have goals, because I just need to relax. So I just need to relax, but I also need goals, but I also need to be more efficient. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for putting up with this deranged individual known as Ravi Johnson Wild. You have my ever thanks. Well, that just about sums it up for today. More crazy rants tomorrow, as I desperately try and figure out who I am, what I want, and how I'm going to get it. See you tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen.